Here we go.
It's not.
Right. So we have an amazing treat for all of you. I am going to spotlight the amazing Jennie Bellinger. Woo! She
Oh,
is the woman. Yes, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, oh, I'm so excited. Let's do this.
She is the woman that you have come to see, and she has already delivered amazing value to you, but it is just getting started. So I have known Jennie now for goodness gracious, I think 6 years going on.
Yeah, it was
And
pre-COVID. And
yeah,
in person. We met in person first.
we met in person, we sang karaoke, and I found a lifelong friend, mentor, and just an amazing expert who is the giver's first mentality. So I am so honored to be introducing you, Jennie. Officially, Ms. Jennie Bellinger is a certified professional coach and the host of the Badass Direct Sales Mastery podcast. She does work directly with badass direct sales moms who are ready to double their income, an entrepreneur since 2010, actually. And this is her eighth year, which is why y'all got the special rate to come into this summit. She understands the desire to contribute to your family's future and be present in the here and now, and how difficult balancing those priorities can be while being a badass sales leader. So Jennie's learned the hard way while building two separate businesses, raising two kids, navigating divorce, to fulfill that need and contribute to be there for her children and all of your lives as well. The direct sales Dom and certified professional coach, your host, Ms. Jennie Bellinger.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Sharon. I so appreciate you. And yeah, this I put this whole thing together. I mean, I've been doing the summits since 2021, and I put them together originally because I just wanted a way to reach more people, to help more people be successful in this industry. And what I have found and what I've come to realize is that the best way to impact a large number of people in direct sales is if we can impact the leaders, because leaders always share it down. This is one area where trickle down works. I knew Dallas would laugh at that one. Yeah, it absolutely works here. And so um, I knew I had something important to share with leaders, because it was actually how I have figured out how I got successful as a leader and wanted to share this with others. And so my talk title is three things every badass leader knows. And of course, not just what they know, but what they do during all of this. So, we're going to be going through sharing some information with you, but I got to start with telling you this. My eyes were stinging from the sudden onset of tears as I heard my name called as the leader of the number three team in sales at my company's convention. I was in total shock as I walked toward the stage to accept my trophy. Just the day before, I had checked my banking app and I had seen the largest single week deposit ever. I felt slightly nauseous as the gentleman helped me up the stairs to the stage, my tummy turning, not only because of the award, but also because of the little baby that I had inside of me turning somersaults, because I had been sitting for hours and suddenly jumped up and started moving, and any mother knows that's all of a sudden that baby wakes up and starts moving on you. And then 20 minutes later they called my name again as the leader of the number one team for recruiting. I'm not kidding you when I say I ugly cried the entire walk across the stage due to hormones. But then 6 months later, my eyes welled up with tears again. But this time I had opened my direct deposit statement to the smallest deposit in 6 months. Just a couple weeks before, I had given birth to my second baby and had been ready to take a 4 week break from home parties while I bonded with her. What I hadn't anticipated was that my team would end up taking a figurative maternity break with me. I had to try and now conjure up some sales from my VIP customers to help build my check back for the next 2 weeks rather than be able to focus on my baby and my sleep. And I was absolutely heartbroken at the time. And what I didn't understand back then, and what I wished I knew then, was how I had created the community and culture within my team, how I had led them to success, and how I had attracted such loyalty and manifested productivity from them at the time that we earned everything. But because I was doing it intuitively and not from a place of knowing what I was doing as a leader, I had to then face the ugly truth that leading from my gut wasn't going to cut it any longer. That throwing leadership spaghetti at the wall wouldn't help develop other people, because if I didn't know what I was doing, I couldn't tell them and I couldn't help them. And I was also sick of hearing, of course you can do it. You're you. Because I knew what I had in common with them was that I didn't know what I was doing. I just happened to have some skills that I had learned, but I wasn't doing them consciously and intentionally. You heard, for those of you who were around for this morning's sessions, you heard Tony Lucero talk about intentionality, being intentional with things. And that's what I wasn't doing with my leadership. I was just, frankly, trying to figure it out each and every day. So I realized I had to figure out, just like Bob Berg started doing. I read and listened to many leadership books. I started looking for ways that I could figure out what it was that I was doing that was right, what it was that I was doing that was wrong. Because with leadership, there's a little bit of a lag of time between what you do and the results. So it was really hard to tell what the good thing was that I was doing that was working and what the bad thing was. Because sometimes I would do the good thing and the good result would come a few weeks later after I'd done something that was not such a smart idea on a leadership perspective. But because of time proximity, my brain assumed that the bad thing was what had caused that good result. Right. But now, because of fully understanding that and going through and reading books, and I mean, some of you have been to my house. Some of you have been to my house. You've seen how many books I have. Not all of them have been read, because some of them are on my to read book list, but many of them have been. And I've listened to a lot of other books that are sitting there in my Audible app, to make sure that I get the information audibly as well. I also was attending many leadership trainings that were put on by my upline and my company, but I also went and invested in other ones through BNI, through a lot of other places where I could learn how to be a better leader, where I could go practice and interact and talk with people, other leaders who were experiencing the same thing I was, to be able to realize that I wasn't alone, because leadership can be extremely lonely the higher and higher you get in the company. I also, for the past, even before I had a podcast, I was interviewing top leaders in the field. I was talking to people who were tops at Mary Kay. I was talking to people who were tops at my company, Park Lane Jewelry. I was talking to people who were tops in all different kinds of companies, doTERRA essential oils, and et cetera, because I wanted to know what they were doing, what was working for them, how were things going, and really started to create this group of people around me who we were helping each other out, even though we didn't work for the same company, we didn't get paid for what the other people did. We just wanted to be together. And of course, I put into practice what I was learning. And so here's what I know after talking to all those people, reading all those books, going to all those trainings. I've distilled it down into some 3 very specific things that I've seen every badass leader knows, whether they know it or not. But I know how to do this. And I'm going to let you know once I introduce the three things that they all know, I'm going to make an offer for badass leaders. So stay tuned. So the first thing they do is build a culture of family. That was how I built that loyalty. Now, I didn't know how I had done it. So let me tell you another story. I want to take you to July of 2018. I'm sitting in a hotel conference room while my coach and mentor pulled up a PowerPoint about her new business partner. 45 minutes later, I'm handing her my credit card, and I called Marcel because he was not in the room that night because he had family
So you don't
obligations
need
with his daughter.
retirees too.
I called him to say, hey, you need to be a part of this. So I also handed the phone over and said, here, you buy this too. The previous 45 minutes was an overview of the system that I went on to become a certified trainer and coach with, the Ohana Way. I spent the next 2 years reading the book, listening to hours of audios, attending online programs and masterminds with Scott Conway, all because I finally had the 5-step way that I had unintentionally, subconsciously used to create my team culture that led to those trophies. So the first piece is you've got to build that culture of family. And when I say family, I don't mean necessarily blood family because not everybody has like the greatest blood family. I'm talking about the family that you create, the family that you want and need in your life. When you can create that culture, you will have extremely loyal team members who will do anything for you. And even though I have been out of Park Lane Jewelry since 2017, I still have team members. I still have people who weren't even on my team because of the culture that I created through my trainings and the things that I did. I still have friendships with those people. They are still my Ohana. I can call on them. They can call on me 8 years later, still to this day. So that's number one. Now notice that the B is underlined on that one. I'm pointing that out for a reason. You'll see why in just a moment. The second thing badass leaders know is they develop their leadership levels and leadership in others. I realized that I had been mentored through the 5 levels of leadership. You heard me talk, for those of you who were here earlier when I was interviewing Bob Berg, that I I have been through John Maxwell's 5 levels of leadership. My leader, my mentor, took me through those 5 levels. But the thing was, I hadn't learned them for myself or how to develop them in others. But once I started doing that and recognizing it, things started to change. The third thing that every badass leader knows is the stages of tribes. Now, this third key is all about understanding the team. Here we're calling tribe. Okay. Specifically, we're talking about the individuals on the team and how they interact with and influence one another for the better and for the worse. Because there are 5 stages of tribes. And if you and your team are recruiting people who are in stages 1 and 2, without a strong understanding of how to move a 2 to a 3, then your team will be destined to stay at a lower level until you know how to help them rise to levels 3, then to 4, and then to 5. And that comes from those 5 levels of leadership. See how these all kind of intertwine here. Now, that's the 3 things. I've given you the 3 things that every badass leader knows. But guess what? There's a bonus fourth thing. But before that, first, I have an invitation for you. What if you could create your own team culture using a proven system? What if you could quickly assess your level of leadership and make a plan to get to the next level? What if you could easily identify your current tribe's stage and discover how to attract those level threes, fours, and fives? And what if you could do it all in one day? I think I have some people's attention. So I'd like to invite you to join us for the Badass Leaders Boot Camp. This is a full day workshop that covers the culture development, leadership development, and a high vibe tribe attraction. It is happening on Tuesday, April 15th. And hey, VIPs, guess what? You get $300 off of the ticket. So I'm putting that out there now. So if you're not a VIP and you're thinking to yourself, man, maybe I should do that. This right here, this right here saves you more than you pay in the VIP because the investment for this boot camp is $799. Save $300. That's $499. Under $500 for a whole day. And here's my guarantee. Make your boot camp investment back with your team sales in 60 days or your money back. So here's the QR code. So assuming you're not on your phone, but even if you are on your phone, you can go ahead and take a screenshot. And then most phones have the capability of push and hold the QR code from the screenshot to be able to go to the link. My team also is putting the link in the chat right now because I know Brian has that link ready to go. And for those of you who are general admission but are not leaning towards upgrading to VIP, but you want to go to the boot camp, I do have fast action pricing right now. If sometime between now and April 2nd, so less than a week, so I'm not saying you have to take action today or even tomorrow, but by next Wednesday, use the code Leaders Take Action, no spaces, Leaders Take Action. You will save $150 off of your boot camp ticket. And for VIPs, if you want to participate in this, send a message to Brian and he'll send you the VIP code to get your boot camp ticket for $499. Now, I want you to go ahead and for those of you who are still scanning, because I saw a lot of phones go up scanning that QR code, what questions do you have about the boot camp before you make the decision? Or what do you need to know in order to make that decision? You can raise your digital hand or just go ahead and unmute. Did I answer all the questions? Did I do such a good job?
So, questions that often come up are, well, what if I can't be there the whole, like, what are the hours and what if I can't be there the whole day?
Great question. Yes, so true. So the event is happening from 9 a.m. Central to 5 p.m. Central. There is a lunch break in the middle of the day to be able to literally go take a break. There's no, and just so you know, there's no like general admission VIP. Like everybody is VIP for the boot camp. But during the lunch break, we truly take a break because I know that your brains will need a break from the information because you will be going through and creating that plan during the boot camp. So great question. Oh, and for those who can't be there, it is recorded. If you can't be there the whole time, the recommendation is you're going to want to be there for at least part of the time because what I do know is that those who say, "Oh yeah, I'll watch the recording," they don't always do it. So I find it's more likely to get done if you're at least there. So, and by the way, the guarantee only works if you're at the boot camp for some portion of it. And then there's also homework that you have to do in order for the guarantee to fall into place, right? Like it's not just, oh, I don't have a team. Well, then I can't guarantee your team sales are going to do anything. But based on some things, yes, we do have a good guarantee there. So, Sharon,
What if they don't have as much team as they need to feel like building this leadership in Ohana will help them build that team, that level 3 and 4?
well, here's what's wonderful is through the process of going through the boot camp, if you are someone who is an aspiring leader in your industry, by being Ohana, you attract the people you want. And once you learn the stages of tribes, once you know what those are, you'll stop bringing in the people who drag you down, take your time, and suck your energy like an energy vampire. My friend Spencer Jones talks about energy vampires. Those are the people who are at stages 1 and 2. And I show you exactly how to identify who those people are. So great questions. All right, I'm going to move on because we only have limited amount of time and there is a bonus fourth thing that all badass leaders know. And I want to get to that. So,
Jenny, one more
oh yeah,
question.
sure.
Sorry. Um, for VIPs, are they able to extend their VIP to someone else, or what can they do for people that they think this is someone that needs to come with me or be there instead of me?
Okay, here's what's awesome because if you invested in the VIP and you have team members that you would also like to be in the room, give them the code. That's one of the benefits of being VIP is your team gets to be VIP with you and use your code. Because then they're going to help you build this together. Leadership is only lonely if you let it be. Man, I can't wait to hear Dallas's talk later, by the way. All right. So, if you're ready for the bonus fourth thing, the bonus fourth thing that I have seen every single successful leader at some point they share with me that they are in, have been in, or are joining a mastermind. And I found personally, once I got consistent support from others at my level of leadership and higher, through investing in a high level mastermind, my leadership was able to achieve a level that allowed me to take my team to the top once again. I have been a member of a mastermind since 2017, and I just joined my second. Every high level leader needs a mastermind because what got them to where they are won't get them to where they want to go. And the only way to break through those things is you can have the knowledge, but if you don't have other people who know, love, care for you, and hold you accountable for the things you say you're going to do as a leader, then they don't always get done. And that, my friends, is the 3+1. That I'm going to check through. Were there any other questions, things that I got here? Charlie, just do it. I love it. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And there is the link and the code for the fast action. Love this. What questions do you have at this point? How about leadership stories? Oh, Julie, thank you so much. Thank you. Again, this comes from working backwards. This comes from working backwards. Like I had the success and then fell and went, oh crap. What did I like? What got me there? What made me fall? Like, what wasn't I doing anymore? Because, of course, going to the point where I stopped getting the paychecks when I took my maternity leave came from me being at the end of my pregnancy and, frankly, just not doing the things that got me to be successful, which at the time I didn't really know what they were because I was leading from my gut, which wasn't working. Ooh, what is a question or two that I can ask a leader to gauge this conversation? Uh, Dallas, can you unmute and tell me more? I need some clarity around the wording there.
Sure. So I don't have teams under me with this. However, I know a few people, tried to get them to this event today even. But what's the question I asked them to just kind of gauge like, hey, you need to be, other than coming up to them and flat out saying, you got to go to Jenny's thing. What might be a question that I can probe a pain point or do a little poke to be like, let's find out a little bit more.
Sure. I think it starts with asking them like what's their goal for their business if they are in network marketing, like what are they like what's the ultimate vision, the 5-year plan, the 10-year plan, right? And if
Yeah.
it's something along the lines of I'm looking to build an empire, I'm looking to replace my job as a insert position here that is a soul sucking, energy sucking job that they're not in love with, or they know they can't do forever because it's too physical, whatever it may be, right? What is that ultimate vision? And if that
Okay.
vision, I mean, you've been around me enough to know if that vision means that team building is going to be a thing and leadership is going to be a thing to get them to the point where they're creating the kind of um, money coming in because of the sheer amount of people that they and everyone that they're working with are helping, then that will help you begin to see, like, oh, okay. And then from there, if their vision fits leadership, asking them, what's your plan?
Okay. That's
Right?
helpful. Thank you. Yep.
Because most of them probably don't know what their plan is. They're just like, I don't know. I'm just going to get people and get them to sell things. And y'all, that's not a plan. I'm just saying. Right? Let's see.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So you talk about badass leaders, which, if we're leaders, we're bosses. How do you define the boss telling people and having control and command over their business versus the leading and inspiring and influencing? And how does that play into what we're going to learn?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So the big difference is, boss or management, what you just talked about there, that's like the first level, right? People do what you say because they have to, right? They that's level one. Like and with what I teach in the boot camp and what I help leaders understand and what I've been helping leaders to understand for 8 years now is what those different levels are and how do you move from, because let's face it, in network marketing, you can't tell anybody what to do and expect them to do it. They are all independent business owners or an independent consultant, or they just happen to be on your team because they respond or like they responded to joining the team, right? But they don't have to do anything because you can't fire them. To my knowledge, there's no companies out there that give somebody in the field the ability to take someone out of the business, right? There's really no way to do that. So it's only through learning leadership and the different levels of leadership to move from the management piece, which is, unfortunately where most people know how to do, to move into the piece where you are able to get people to follow you through the process of building a culture where you are family. They want to listen. They want to participate in this through the process of understanding your level of leadership and where you are with them and being able to take people through, because there is a process for that. There is a way to take people from the positional leadership. Listen to me because I've been doing it for 8 years, all the way up to, oh my gosh, Jennie, I will follow you wherever you go. Right? There's three other things between that positional and that pinnacle leadership, Um, ooh, that's good. Somebody asked me, I don't have time for this leadership stuff. I just need results. If you want results, you need to make time for leadership, because you don't get results without the leadership. Not the kind of results that you're wanting to be able to leave that 40-hour, 50-hour, 60-hour soul-sucking job that you don't love as much, because you're not able to help as many people as what you're able to do with your business. So, another good question asked privately to me: why is it important now, more than ever, to attend this type of class now? The longer you wait, the longer it's going to take for you to get the leadership results. Because remember what I said earlier, there's a lag time between what you do as a leader and the results that come from it, because it's trickling down from you to the people that you're working with. So if someone doesn't work now, that's why I put the leadership boot camp to be 2 weeks from now. So you don't have to wait, so we can get to it quickly, but you've got enough time to rearrange your schedule to be there on the 15th. And yes, I intentionally chose tax day because I want to make it so that you guys get your taxes done before the 15th, so you can be there and be like, and yes, my tax refund is going to pay for this. Because we all know, those of us who have business, there's a really good chance you're getting a refund if you did your taxes right. So there's that. Let's see. Oh, somebody wants to know results of one of my clients. So one of the clients that I worked with to take them through this process was somebody who, when she started working with me, she had one team member. And she had one team member for almost a year. And she was like, I want more, but I don't know how to do this. And and so we worked through understanding her people, understanding who she needs in order to attract people who will do this, how to have those conversations, because leadership is sales, right? Leadership is sales, especially in network marketing, selling the idea, the vision, the dream of having their own business and being an independent person, an entrepreneur who is going through all the things that other entrepreneurs go through, regardless of how you get paid. Leadership is sales. So that client that I worked with, she called me on March 1st and said, I just recruited 12 people. Now this wasn't this year, this was a couple years ago. But in the month of February, the shortest month of the year, she recruited 12 people. She went from 1 to 13 people on her team in 28 days. Because the switch flipped. She got it and knew who to look for, knew who to talk to, when to talk to them, what to say, and how to bring them on board. And it all started from the things we learned, but we did it over the course of months because we were coaching through it. I didn't have a one-day thing where I was teaching people how to do this. Ooh, Charlie, thank you. Yes, momentum is on your side after this. Yes. There's a reason why I do this in March, because everyone in January is like, yes, I'm going to work my business this year. Dallas. Yeah. And by March, that energy has dropped. And so I do this to give everybody that bump, that push, to go, oh, yeah, here's what I need. Right. And the great thing about this boot camp is that it does end up creating for each person who participates in it, because every one of my clients who has gone through this has been able to create their own custom leadership plan. But again, all of my clients did it over the course of months of working with me. We get the plan done in one day. And so, I mean, you're welcome to. I'm not going to say no if you want to become a coaching client and go through and take months and months and months to do this. I won't say no because I've done it before. I'll do it again. And I'd love to do it with you because if you're here, again, you're awesome, you're wonderful, and I only attract awesome and wonderful here. That's what I put out in the world on purpose. But to be able to get that done in a day, you can't afford to not do this if your vision aligns with leadership. So I'm going to let that sit and marinate. Sharon, thank you so much for asking some questions. I appreciate you helping me with that because, you know, when you're trying to do the presentation and, you know, look at the gallery and watch everybody to make sure everything's landing, because I'm a former teacher. I'm used to watching my students to see, is it landing? Are they getting it? Oh, do I need to go back and cover that again? You know, you guys are fabulous students. Thank you so much. Oh, I got applause. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So, what I'd like to do now is I don't know about you, but I just talked for pretty much 40 minutes straight. I need to take a little bit of a break, catch my breath. I don't know. It looks like it's raining where I am, so I don't know that I'll be able to make it outside for fresh air, but I might at least go stand by a window or something. Get some fresh light. Yeah, coffee time. I see some people. I don't know if I have coffee right now, I'd be up until tomorrow morning, and that would be bad. But I will definitely get up and move. So I want to give everyone the opportunity to take some time to breathe, get some, get some water, tea, whatever it may be, fresh air. And if you're interested in looking at the boot camp or if you have any additional questions, please feel free to message the team in the chat. And if they don't know the answer, they'll get it from me. So we'll see you back here at the top of the hour for our next speaker. Let's take a 22-minute break. Go move. I love you guys.